Commissioner Gordon, Bane has escaped.
Pain is the greatest teacher. There is no lesson more honest, no force more ruthless. Pain strips away the illusions, the lies you tell yourself about who you are, what you can endure. It does not care for your comfort. It does not stop until you are laid bare, exposed for what you truly are. Those who seek only ease and shelter are blind to its wisdom. But those who walk willingly into the jaws of suffering, who embrace the agony, know that pain is the forge in which the unbreakable are made. Pain teaches by breaking, by tearing down every part of you that clings to weakness, to doubt. Each time it strikes, it leaves a scar, a reminder that you have endured, that you have survived something meant to destroy you. But scars are more than wounds. They are the marks of resilience, of lessons learned in fire. Those who fear pain, who flee from it, will never understand the depth of its power. They will never learn the lesson that only pain can teach, that strength is not given, it is earned, carved out of every agonizing moment that tests your will. To face pain is to face the raw truth of your own limitations. Pain reveals where you falter, where you lack, and it does so without mercy. It strips away the comforts that keep you soft, tears apart the illusions that hold you back, leaving you with nothing but the naked reality of your weakness. But in that moment of exposure, of utter vulnerability, you're given a choice to retreat or to rise. Those who understand the lesson of pain know that it is in the rising, in the struggle to overcome, that power is truly born. Pain is not your enemy. It is your mentor. It challenges you, forces you to confront the parts of yourself you would rather ignore. Each wave of agony is a lesson, each strike an opportunity to grow beyond what you were before. Those who resist pain, who resent it, are doomed to be broken by it. But those who embrace it, who let it sharpen them, find that they are no longer bound by the limits they once knew. Pain teaches endurance, patience, resilience, qualities that can only be understood by those willing to endure its crucible. Strength is born in suffering, not in comfort. The greatest lessons do not come when life is kind, when the path is easy. They come when the world has turned against you, when every step forward is a battle, when every breath is a struggle. Pain teaches you to find your own strength, to rely on nothing but the fire within. Each moment of suffering is another step toward mastery, another layer of armor forged in agony. The weak will never know this power, for they turn away from anything that might hurt them. But you understand that pain is not to be feared. It is to be conquered, to be wielded as a weapon in the battle for greatness. Pain offers a clarity that comfort cannot touch. It focuses you, narrows your vision until all that remains is the challenge before you. In pain, there is no room for distraction, no tolerance for weakness. It demands your full attention, forcing you to strip away everything that is not essential. Only those who embrace pain know the purity of this focus, the sharpened edge that comes from dancing on the line between survival and surrender. Pain teaches discipline, self-control, the ability to stand firm when everything within you screams to give in. To learn from pain is to understand that every moment of suffering is a gift, an opportunity to become something more. Most will never grasp this, for they curse pain, resist it, fight to escape it. But you know better. You know that pain is the price of evolution, the cost of transformation. Each lesson it teaches is a step toward something greater, a step that takes you beyond what you were, closer to what you could be. Pain does not simply shape you, it refines you, cutting away the unnecessary until all that remains is strength, resilience, and power. Those who understand pain do not fear it. They welcome it. They know that in every agony there is wisdom, in every scar there is strength. Pain is the greatest teacher because it does not coddle, does not indulge weakness. It takes you to the edge of your endurance and forces you to make a choice, fall or rise. In that choice you find the depths of your own will, the power that lies dormant, waiting for the moment when you are tested beyond what you thought possible. One of the reasons people cling to their hate so stubbornly is because hate is a shield, a mask that obscures what lies beneath. Hate is simple. It is easy. It is the familiar weight that fills the emptiness, sparing them from the confrontation they fear most, the confrontation with pain. It is easier to burn with resentment than to let that fire die and face the darkness left behind. To let go of hate is to strip away the armor that protects them, to expose themselves to the raw wound, to feel the agony they have so carefully buried beneath layers of bitterness. Hate is a distraction, a siren song that keeps them from looking inward. It consumes, devours, makes them believe that their suffering has a clear external cause. With hate, there is always someone or something to blame, always a target for their rage. But the moment that hate is extinguished, when the flames die down, all that remains is silence. A silence filled with the echoes of their own pain, a suffering that has no one to shoulder it but themselves. To release hate is to take ownership of that suffering, to acknowledge that it is not inflicted by others but born from within. People cling to hate because they fear the void it conceals. Hate is intense, powerful. It fills the soul, pushes back the emptiness, drowns out the whispers of grief and loss that lie in the shadows. To let go of hate is to let go of that false strength, to stand vulnerable before the darkness within, to face the pain they have avoided for so long. Hate is a temporary relief, a fleeting reprieve from a deeper agony. But pain is patient, waiting for the moment when hate has run its course, when there is nothing left to mask it, to keep it at bay. Hatred binds people, holds them captive because it offers the illusion of purpose. It tells them that their suffering has a cause, an enemy, that if they destroy that enemy, the pain will go with it. But hate is a lie, a twisted comfort that only deepens the suffering it promises to heal. When hate is gone, when there is no one left to blame, all that remains is the mirror, the reflection of their own brokenness. Pain does not disappear when hate fades. It only steps out from the shadows stronger, more relentless, now that it no longer has to compete with the noise. To release hate is to invite the pain forward, to confront it without armor, without the crutch of resentment. This is why people cling to it so fiercely, why they would rather burn with anger than cool in acceptance. They sense in the depths of their being that once hate is gone, they will be left with nothing but the weight of their own suffering. Hate distracts, it numbs, but it does not heal. And once it is gone, they will face the reality that the wounds have only deepened in the darkness. Those who let go of hate must confront the pain, the grief, the weakness they have hidden behind their rage. They must face the part of themselves that feels betrayed, abandoned, vulnerable. To release hate is to embrace pain as the final teacher, to let it strip away the last remnants of illusion, to allow it to teach the lesson that hate could only delay. Hate is a detour, a way to avoid the path that leads to healing. But healing demands that they step into the pain, that they make it a part of themselves, learn from it, and emerge stronger. Hate delays the inevitable, holds back the confrontation with pain, but it cannot hold it forever. The darkness waits, patient, knowing that one day the hate will burn itself out, and all that will remain is the silence that hate once covered. A silence filled with the lessons only pain can teach. Those who cling to hate are bound to it, prisoners of their own fear, afraid to face what lies beneath. But those who release it, who let it fall away, step into the void where pain waits, not as an enemy, but as the greatest of all instructors. Embrace pain as the greatest teacher, for only by letting go of hate, only by facing the agony you have hidden from, can you begin to learn what hate kept hidden. A life untouched by suffering is a hollow existence, a shell lacking substance, a vessel without weight. It is pain in all its harshness that sharpens the mind, that carves out the depths of who you are. Trouble is not an affliction. It is the sculptor's chisel, striking away the weaknesses, leaving only what is unbreakable. Those who live in ease, who seek only comfort, are but shadows, half-formed, their intelligence blunted by the softness of their lives. A soul forged without pain is brittle, fragile, shattered at the first hint of hardship. Intelligence without suffering is no more than shallow cunning, a mind that skims the surface but has no depth. It is pain that deepens, that forces the mind to probe the darkness, to ask the questions most are too fearful to confront. Trouble shapes wisdom, pain gives rise to strength. A world free from these would be a barren wasteland, populated by hollow beings who know nothing of resilience, who have no capacity for greatness. Pains and troubles are the crucible, the fire that refines raw intelligence into something more. A soul capable of bearing the weight of existence. Every hardship, every wound, every scar is another step toward becoming something more than mere flesh and bone. It is only by facing the trials that life inflicts, by enduring them, that intelligence is transformed, gaining substance, depth, purpose. A soul without suffering is as empty as a fortress without walls, defenseless, vulnerable, a mockery of what it could be. To be schooled by pain is to understand the nature of strength, to know that it is not a gift, but a reward for those who have survived the darkness. Pain and trouble are not punishments. They are rites of passage, tests that determine who will rise and who will fall. In each moment of suffering, you are given a choice, to break or to bend, to shatter or to grow. Those who understand this do not flee from trouble. They embrace it, knowing that each trial endured is another brick laid in the foundation of a soul that cannot be broken. A world without pain is a world without growth. Intelligence stagnates without challenge, without conflict, without something to push against. It is only through pain that the mind is forced to evolve, to adapt, to deepen. Trouble compels you to see beyond the surface, to question, to doubt, to seek meaning where comfort would have left you complacent. The soul is not born of luxury, it is born of struggle, of hardship, of the relentless pressure that forces the essence of who you are to the surface. Each trouble, each wound, is another step in the journey from mind to soul. Intelligence is common, a spark that anyone can possess. But to forge that spark into a flame that cannot be extinguished requires suffering, requires the knowledge that only comes from surviving what should have destroyed you. A soul is not a gift. It is a creation, built from every tear, every scar, every moment of agony that forces you to confront the rawness of existence. Do you not see that without pain, there is no purpose, no direction? A world without troubles would leave you adrift, a leaf floating on still waters, untouched by the currents that give life its depth. It is pain that anchors you, that reminds you of the weight of existence, that binds you to the reality of your own limitations and compels you to push beyond them. Those who escape pain, who flee from trouble, are shallow beings, devoid of resilience, living lives that are nothing but shadows. Pain is the only teacher capable of transforming intelligence into a soul. It strips away the illusions, the comforts, the lies that keep you weak, leaving only what is real, what is unyielding. Every trouble faced, every agony endured is another layer of strength, another piece of a soul that cannot be broken. In the end, it is pain that gives life meaning, that schools the mind, that creates something capable of withstanding the storms of existence. Pain is the greatest teacher, for it is the only force capable of forging an intelligence into a soul that cannot be destroyed. Does anything in nature despair except man? The creatures of the wild, caught in traps of flesh and bone, do not waste a moment on despair. A wolf with a leg caught does not lament its misfortune, nor does it waste energy on regret. It knows only the present, the taste of its own blood, the urgency to survive. It does not seek comfort, does not question why it suffers. It is too consumed by the raw, singular focus of survival, too bound to its own will to live. There is a purity in this, an intensity that humans, with their endless spiral of doubt, have long forgotten. Despair is a luxury of those who have forgotten what it means to endure, who have abandoned the primal instinct to wait, to outlast. In nature, there is no time for sorrow, no room for mourning what cannot be changed. Everything is movement, resilience, an endless cycle of death and renewal. A tree stripped by winter does not mourn its fallen leaves. It simply waits, still knowing that spring will call it back to life. In the silence of that waiting there is power, a patience that man has lost. We are so quick to despair, so quick to surrender to the darkness, forgetting that pain, like all things, is temporary. The lesson of nature is one of quiet endurance, of accepting loss and decay as merely phases in an eternal cycle. Man, with his ego, clings to every moment, every shred of suffering as though it defines him, as though the pain is permanent. But nature teaches that nothing remains, not even agony. Pain is a visitor, a force to be endured but not worshipped. The creatures of the wild do not bow to suffering. They outlast it, waiting in stillness, conserving their strength for the moment they can break free. To learn from nature is to understand that pain is not the end. It is merely a trial to be survived. The animal waits, the tree endures, and in time each finds itself reborn, renewed, stronger for what it has withstood. Man despairs because he has forgotten this rhythm, lost in a haze of memory and regret, reliving his suffering as though it were an endless loop. But those who understand survival know that pain is merely a phase, that to sit it out, to let it pass, is the path to strength. Imitate the trees. Let go of what you cannot keep. Pain will strip you, break you down, but only so it can force you to release the illusions, the comforts that have kept you weak. In the letting go, there is a kind of death, but in that death, there is also rebirth. The tree loses its leaves to gain them back, stronger, thicker, more resilient against the storms. There is no despair in this cycle, only the still, intense waiting for the moment when it will rise again. Man clings to his pain as though it defines him, but nature teaches that nothing can bind you if you do not let it. Psychic pain, like physical pain, is a passing storm, brutal, unrelenting, but ultimately temporary. To survive is to outlast, to sit in the darkness and know that it cannot last forever. Even the fiercest agony will fade, if only you have the patience to endure it, to let it pass without attachment. The animal does not seek to understand its suffering, it only seeks to survive it. In the stillness of endurance there is power. Pain is merely an element, a transient force in an eternal cycle. The weak break under its weight, clinging to the memory of their suffering, letting it consume them long after it has passed. But those who understand the lessons of the wild know that survival is not about clinging, but about shedding what no longer serves, about letting each wave of agony pass over you without letting it drag you under. Let it all pass. Let it go. Pain does not define you, it merely tests you, forces you to adapt, to grow, to survive. In the end, despair is a choice, a distraction from the still, quiet waiting that survival demands. The greatest lesson nature offers is patience, the willingness to wait out the suffering, to endure the cold without letting it freeze the spirit. Those who imitate the endurance of nature find that no pain, no darkness can hold them forever. Wisdom comes through suffering. There is no revelation in comfort, no enlightenment in peace. The path to understanding is paved with agony, with nights haunted by memories that do not fade, with the relentless drip of pain into the heart as it seeks rest. Trouble has a way of carving its lessons deep into the soul, leaving marks that never fully heal. It does not teach gently, nor does it coddle. It is ruthless, unforgiving, a force that grinds you down until you have learned what you were meant to know. Pain is a companion that follows you into the darkness, a teacher that haunts your sleep, whispering its lessons in the silence. You may try to resist it, to ignore its voice, but pain has a patience that outlasts defiance. It seeps into your thoughts, your memories, until every moment of stillness brings with it a reminder of what you have endured. It is inescapable, but this is its power, for only when suffering becomes part of your bones do you begin to see beyond the illusions, to grasp the nature of wisdom. Pain teaches moderation through force, through the relentless push and pull of its presence. It breaks the spirit of arrogance, tempering pride, reminding you of the limits you are so quick to forget. Through suffering, the soul learns humility, learns that it is not invincible, that there are forces greater than itself. Trouble is the hammer that strikes down those who reach too far, those who seek power without restraint. Pain holds them in check, instills in them the understanding that there is a cost to everything, a balance that must be respected. Wisdom does not come willingly, it is forced upon those who would rather cling to their ignorance. Trouble, with its brutal persistence, leaves no choice but to learn, to adapt, to grow. Pain strips away the excess, pares down the soul until only what is essential remains. It demands that you abandon the extremes, that you learn to walk the path of restraint, for it is only in moderation that you find the strength to withstand what life will continue to throw at you. Favors come to us from gods, but only after suffering has prepared us to bear them. Those who have not known pain are ill-equipped to handle power, to wield it without being consumed by it. The gods do not bestow gifts upon those who are unworthy. They test, they torment, they shape the soul through fire until it is capable of holding what it desires. Only those who have walked through agony who have faced trouble and survived it, are ready for the favors that come as rewards, as acknowledgments of the resilience they have shown. Suffering is the price of strength, the toll that must be paid by those who seek to rise beyond mediocrity.